Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my April TBR. Alright guys, let's get into this. So I haven't posted my March wrap up yet. Normally I like to do my wrap up before my TBR, but time is getting away from me and I wanted to get this up because excitingly, I am participating in 2 readathons in April. Now, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you probably have noticed that I don't participate in too many readathons. That's mainly due to the fact that I don't read in the same way that a lot of people do. The way I choose my TBR is different to most people, and the way that I like to read is I like to read my older books first, and so typically I can't fit my reading for a month into the prompts for a readathon, particularly when readathons are usually restricted to a month. But there were 2 readathons going on in April that I really wanted to participate in, and they're both month-long readathons. They're both readathons that are going for the entire month of April, and that just gave me a lot more like leeway to kind of work my TBR into such a way that I'm hoping to check off a lot of the prompts for the challenges, and I can also makes me feel more comfortable to read books during the readathon that maybe don't check off challenges if they're books that I need to read or want to read, because it's going for the whole month. I still have time, whereas when it's a readathon that's limited to that 7 days, you feel really guilty when you read books outside of like that fit any prompts. So that's kind of what the situation is. So the readathons that I'm planning to participate in, first off we have BookBuddyAthon. So BookBuddyAthon is hosted by Eleanor from Eleanor Reads Books and Janet from Swirly Girly Reads. I'll leave all of the information for all of the readathons down below. So this is a readathon that's been going on for a while. I think in the past, I've always wanted to participate in this one. In the past, I think this has been your more typical week-long readathon, and the idea around it when it started was that you would buddy up with someone and that the prompts are all around kind of your buddy and you picking books together and all of that type of thing. This year they have kind of changed it, so it is a month-long readathon, like I said, and there is a bingo board style. I'll put the bingo board up here when we get to it, with all different prompts, and it is still, the idea of it is to buddy up with someone. My buddy for the readathon is Michelle, who is one of my subscribers who I've gotten to know. We recently did a buddy read of The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. We read that together. Which will be in my March wrap up if I ever get around to filming that. So we buddy read that, and we're going to buddy up for this readathon. So I'll go through the prompts for that readathon shortly. And then the other readathon that I'm participating in is the Owls Magical Readathon. So of course I wanted to participate in this. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I missed out on the last one. I didn't hear about the readathon until because I'm so behind in subscription feeds and stuff. I didn't realize that it was happening until it was already underway, and so I just kind of missed out on it. And so now it's the next round, and this is hosted by G from Book Roast, and the work that she has put into this readathon is astonishing. For this particular round, there is a entire course catalog with all different careers, and basically the idea of it is that you could pick out a career that you would want to be in the wizarding world, and then you complete different OWL examinations. So OWLs, if you don't know, if you're not a Harry Potter fan, are the examinations that Hogwarts students take in their 5th year at Hogwarts. And so the idea of this is that you would check off the different OWL examinations that you would need to reach that career. So we'll get into that one and the prompts and the careers and stuff shortly, but we will start off with BookBuddyAthon, and I'm going to quickly take you guys through all the prompts that are going on for BookBuddyAthon this month. So I'm just going to kind of take you through all of the prompts, and then we'll kind of go through the books that I'm planning to read and kind of how they will fit in. So first off, we have a prompt for 90210. This one is to read a book with a number in the title. The next prompt is for Dawson's Creek, and that is to read a book with over 400 pages. The next prompt is for New Girl, and that is to read a new to you author or book. The next prompt is just to post your TBR on social media, which I'm doing right now by filming this and then posting it on YouTube. So that's one checked off already. The next prompt is for Pretty Little Liars, a thriller / book with dark themes. The next prompt is to just read for an hour in one go. So I should definitely be able to check that one off as well. The next prompt is for Gilmore Girls, a book off the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. The next one is for Friends, buddy read a book with your buddy. The next one is for Big Bang Theory, which is a book your buddy thinks you will love. The next is for Sex in the City, and that is for you to pick 4 books and then for your buddy to choose which one you read. The next one is to talk to your buddy every day. The next prompt is for Girls, which is to read a graphic novel, manga, or picture book. The next prompt is for the OC, which is to read a book with orange on the cover. The next prompt is just to shout out a book lover, which I will definitely be doing on my channel, or at least on, I don't know if I'll be doing it on my channel because I'm not sure how I'm going to fit that into my videos this month, but I'll definitely be doing it at the very least on Twitter. If you guys don't already follow me on Twitter, it's at RatherBeReading with no G, so follow me. And then there's a prompt for Will and Grace, which is to read a book with LGBT themes. And then the final prompt for the BookBuddyAthon is for Glee, which is to read a comfort read. So kind of thinking about those and going through those. So I've got a number of books here that I think, so let's just kind of talk about them. So first off, we have a book with a new to you author of book, The Giver by Lois Lowry. It's a new, I mean, this is a new book to me in terms of that I've never read it. I guess they may be new maybe in terms of you've just purchased it. Which this one wouldn't count for, but I've never read Lois Lowry. Oh, that's a lie. I have read Lois Lowry before, so this one would not work for this prompt. Anyway, I will definitely be reading books throughout the month that will count to this. For a book with a number in the title, I do have Giant Days Volume 8. I'm not sure if that's cheating, whether the Volume 8 part counts as part of the title. If not, I do have, I didn't bring it in here with me, but I do have Sizzling 16 by Janet, not Sizzling 16, I've read that one. Smokin' 17, I think it is, in the by Janet Ivanovich, a book in the Stephanie Plum series. I do have that on my TBR out from the library, so I could potentially read that one. A book with over 400 pages. I'm sure I'll read several books throughout the month that could count for that. Pretty Little Lies, a thriller / book with dark themes. I read a lot of thrillers, love books. That's basically my favorites. Thrillers and books with dark themes, my 2 favorite types of books basically. Read for an hour in one go. Like I said, I'm definitely planning to check that one off. What else we have? A book of the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. Now the only book, well, I think I've got at least 2 books that I know of on my TBR, but the one that I was definitely planning to read this year that fits this challenge is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I wasn't planning to get to this month though, because it is a bit of a chunker, so I'm kind of planning that, I'm thinking I won't check that one off. But if throughout the month I am, although it's only 460 pages, it's not as bad as it, although the font is like really tiny, that if I get through everything else and I still have time left in the month, then I'll try to pick this up, but I'm not sure whether I'll check that one off or not. Or potentially the other one that I have, I think, is Beloved by Toni Morrison, which I didn't think I was going to get to this year, but if I'm in a bit of a time crunch but still think maybe I could get to it, I could get to that one because that one is much shorter than this one. Where were we? Buddy Read, a book with your buddy. So Michelle and I are going to be buddy reading Watching You by Lisa Jewell. That is one that I have from NetGalley. It is a thriller. I think it's like I don't even know exactly what the premise of it is. I like to go into thrillers a little bit blind, but I have that one from NetGalley. That's the one we're going to be buddy reading. Then a book your buddy thinks you will love. So for this one, you're supposed to read a book that your buddy has recommended to you. And so I'm reading The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. So Michelle recently read this and she said this is basically her new favorite thriller of all time, and I already was really excited by the premise of this. It's a book about I think it's about a woman who, her and her husband seem to have the perfect marriage, but then one day she like randomly murders her husband really brutally and then just never speaks again. And I think we're following the forensic psychotherapist who is speaking to her in like the mental asylum or whatever that she's in and trying to find out what happened. Like I said, I've heard pretty positive reviews of this. Michelle loved it. This is the book she recommended to me. You guys haven't even seen this yet. This will be in my upcoming haul, but very excited to have an excuse to pick this one up because I'm really excited to read it. What else have we got? You pick 4 and your body picks which one you've read. I haven't done that yet. I'm not even sure how I'm going to do that yet. At some point I will be picking 4 books out from my TBR, whether they be library books or NetGalley books or ebooks or books from my actual TBR. I don't know, but I'll be picking 4 out, maybe 1 from each of those different categories, and then getting Michelle to pick which one I should read, and then I'll be adding that into my TBR. A graphic novel, again, this would count for that. The OC, a book with orange on the cover. I have a book out from on hold at the moment, which I'm pretty sure is going to come in this month, on hold for audiobook, and that is called The Magic of Tiny Business. It's like, I think it's like a self-help nonfiction type book. I don't know too much about it, but I put that on hold ages ago, and it's got an orange cover, so that one would count for that. Will and Grace, a book with an LGBT theme. I'm not sure which book I'm going to read for that yet. I have a book on my Kindle, Wicked by Clover Donovan, which was actually on my TBR last month, but I didn't get to. I think this is a middle grade witchy book, and I believe at least one, it follows twins, and I think at least one of them is gay, so that could possibly count for that challenge. And then the final one is to read a comfort read, which I'm not sure what I'm going to count for that. I might have to wait a bit further into the month and kind of see what I read that I think kind of will fit that particular prompt. So yeah, that is kind of BookBuddyAthon. I know I'm all over the place in this video. I'm just kind of really throwing challenges and books at you, but that's kind of where we're at with that. So let's now jump into the Owl's Magical Readathon prompts. So before I even watched the official announcement video, I'd heard a few people talking about it, and so I knew that it was going on and had heard people talking about their different careers. And before I even watched the video and looked into what careers there were, I knew in my head what career I would probably want to do, and that is to be a Hogwarts professor. That was the immediate one that comes to mind, even though it's basically being a teacher, and I've got no desire in real life to be a teacher, except for the school holidays. I would love to have school holidays off. But apart from that, I have no desire to be a teacher, but I think it's just the fact of getting to be at Hogwarts and live at Hogwarts is what's appealing about it. And then combined in with that is librarian. So the career for librarian, there are 5 owls that you need to get, and then to be a Hogwarts professor, you have to complete 7 owls, and one of the 7 has to be Defense Against the Dark Arts, and then one of them has to be the subject that you want to teach. If I was going to be a Hogwarts professor, I would want to be the Charms professor, because Charms is my favorite Harry Potter class, in case you were interested. So I would have to complete those 2, and then those 2, Defense Against the Dark Arts is also one that you need to do to be librarian, so I would still need to complete 1 more in addition to that if I was going to. So librarian's kind of like my first goal, with a stretch goal to adding in the 2 more to be a Hogwarts professor. Oh my god. But there are only, so I think if you get 2 owls, it's acceptable. If you get 5, it's excellent. And then 9, I think, is outstanding. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there are 12 overall. And I'm hoping to get the 9 and get even more than what I would need to, and get that like outstanding or whatever the category is. So let's just go into the prompts and what they are. So the subjects are Ancient Runes, which is to read a retelling. Then we have Arithmancy, which is to read a work written by more than one author. Then we have Defense Against the Dark Arts, which is to read a book with a title starting with R. We then have History of Magic, which is to read a book published at least 10 years ago. Transfiguration, read a book with sprayed edges or a red cover. Charms, which is the Charm of Ageline, which is to read an adult work. Herbology, read a book with a plant on the cover. Astronomy, read a book with star in the title. Care of Magical Creatures, a book with a land animal on the cover. Divination, a book set in the future. Muggle Studies, to read a contemporary. And Potions, which is next ingredient, so to read a sequel. So some of those are easier for me to check off than others, but I think I can get a fair chunk of them done. So let's go through it from the top. So retelling. I have on Out from the Library Fairest by Chanda Han. This is the 2nd book in a series in which the main character is a descendant of the Brothers Grimm and has to decode different fairy tales and stuff all throughout, so I think this one would count for that. For Arithmancy, we have a work written by more than one author. I actually have already checked this one off because I recently listened to the audiobook for The Girl Who Smiled Beads, or The Girl Whose Smile Was Made of Beads, something along those lines. I'll have the picture of it on the screen. But this is by, it's a memoir, and it's by Clementine Maria, I think it is, and it's also by another author, like they wrote it together, so that one counts for that. Defense Against the Dark Arts, the title starting with R, so I actually didn't really have too many options for this. I could have probably dug really deep into my physical TBR shelves, but I didn't want to do that, so I went through my Kindle, and one of the oldest books that I have on my Kindle is actually The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I've never read any Poe, so I think I'm going to read that one for that. We then have History of Magic, which is to read a book published at least 10 years ago. So for that one, we have The Giver by Lois Lowry. This was published in 1993. So what's that, like 26 years ago this year? We then have Sprayed Edges or a Red Cover. I don't think I've got any books on my TBR that have sprayed edges, but I have Giant Days by Non Pratt. This is kind of orangey red, but the main part of it around the outside, and then it kind of bleeds into a bit more orange, I think is red. This is the novelization of the graphic novel, and I'm super excited to read this, so I'll probably read this one for that. Charms, to read an adult work. I'll probably read plenty of books throughout the month that will count for that. Herbology, plant on the cover. I have this sweep bind up of the first 3 books by Kate Tiernan. It's made up of Book of Shadows, The Coven, and Blood Witch. And if you guys can see, this star is actually made up of a vine. So this one will count for that. Astronomy, star in the title. This is one that I don't know if I'm going to be able to check off because I don't know if I've got any books on my TBR that have star in the title. I might do, so this is one of those ones that I'm kind of putting to the side that I don't think that I'll check off. But if I get through a lot of books in the start of the month and I've got time to check off challenges that I don't already have on my books for, then I will search through and find something to read for that one. That is the same situation with Care of Magical Creatures, Land Animal on the cover. I don't have any books I don't think on my immediate TBR that have an animal on the cover. So again, I'll put that one to the side. Although, did this? No. Divination, a book set in the future. Again, I don't think any of these books will fit into that category, but again, if I have time at the end of the month, I will add something in for that. Muggle Studies, contemporary. I'm hoping that I'm going to read a couple of books through the month that can probably slot into that one. And then Potions, The Next Ingredient sequel. I think that Giant Days Volume 8 could count for that. I also, if I read more than one of the books in this bind-up, I think that could count for that because that would be a sequel. So that's all of them. So as you can see, my TBR is way more tentative this month than what I normally like. So basically I've picked the first kind of 6 or 7 books that I'm planning to read that I know check off challenges and that were a bit more immediately coming up on my TBR, and I'm going to read those first and then I'm going to reassess, see where I'm at, and then pick up other books that will check things off. But if I read all of the ones that I'm pretty sure I can do, if I get to all of those, I will have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. So there are 12 and there's 3 that I don't think I'm going to be able to check off. So if I get to those 9 though, that gives me the highest level, which I'll be very, very happy with, and it means I can do my career, baby, of being and I'll be able to take my familiar. She'll be able to come live with me at Hogwarts. She ran away as soon as I said that. So that is kind of the plan, but like I say, it is all really tentative. I am still planning to have my weekly-ish, my 4 vlogs basically for the month going up. So if you want to see my reading in a bit more in-depth and what I'll be reading and what I'll be doing for the challenges, then you can watch those throughout the month. Keep your eye out for those. But I will also, of course, be doing a wrap-up at the end of the month in which I'll let you know how I did, what ones I managed to check off. So wish me luck. So yeah, I think that is kind of it for this video. Like I said, I'm a bit more kind of all over the place and not as structured as I generally like my TBRs to be. But I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've got any thoughts on any of the books that I'm planning to pick up or what you guys are planning to pick up this month. Are you guys participating in any of the readathons? Are you participating in BookBuddyAthon or Ours Magical Readathon or any other readathons? I would love to know. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. But that is all I have for this video today. Bye guys!